before I jump into it, I'll just give a quick synopsis. So this is set in the Irish Midlands in 1859 as an English nurse, Lib Wright, goes to a tiny village to observe what some see as a medical anomaly and others see as a miracle. A girl has survived without food for months. Tourists flock to see this 11-year-old Anna O'Donnell, and a journalist has come to cover the sensation as two strangers transform each other's lives in a story of love pitted against evil. So for me, when I was watching this, I don't know, I think it's like, whatever, 2-hour movie. I think like the first hour and 20 minutes, I was like, this is just like a very average movie. Like, I'm not blown away. I don't think it's bad. And then the final 30 minutes come and it just wraps up everything so brilliantly that I was like, this is a very good movie. I gave it a 7.7 out of 10 for 4 stars. But I think for the majority of this, for me, I was just like, okay, it's unfolding. I'm not really like loving this. I'm not hating this. Just kind of waiting to see what happens. Like, it wasn't really captivating me much, but then the end came around and redeemed it for me. Seth, what are your thoughts overall on The Wonder?
Yeah, I think I roughly spoke about it a few weeks ago, but obviously now you've seen it, it's a bit easier. I really liked it. I actually was a bit different from you, whereas I think this is more my sort of film. It is quite slow, it is quite driven. I think it's a whole commentary on kind of religion versus science. There's a lot to go into. I think this is a film that definitely will benefit from more watches. I give it the same as Tyler, a 4 out of 5. I think Florence Pugh is fantastic, as always. That's just not a surprise. She's great. I think a lot of the cast is great as well. I think the narrative is very straightforward. It doesn't go to places I thought it could do, which did let me down. I think it lost its footing at certain points. But I think, honestly, the sound design was incredible.
So
Tyler, do you
eerie.
not think it had like horror elements to
No.
the sound and setting design?
This is a movie that's it's billed as a psychological thriller, but the score and the sound and like the ticking and
eerie.
It is creepy as hell, man.
I loved that. I mean, that's just like, I think I said that when I spoke about it before, that George, I think, will really like this because it has these kind of psychological horror aspects which do kind of induce this paranoia effect on you. But yeah, I really liked it. I think I liked it a lot. Actually, I'll give it 4 out of 5. Yeah. I think I like with you obviously the end, sort of the final 40 minutes you enjoyed a lot more than the first. I actually enjoyed the whole thing on a kind of consistent level, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So none of it blew me away, but I liked all of it. Although I did think the start was a weird decision.
I was gonna and the end. Like, I was gonna add, this isn't spoiling it. This isn't literally doesn't spoil anything. But what do you think about the start and the end? So basically, and the clip went pretty big on Twitter too. So again, this literally takes nothing away from the movie. So the beginning of the movie is them on like a production set, like in a warehouse. Like, this is where the movie's being made, and it's just panning throughout it with a voiceover. And then it just pans all the way until like the first room you see of the movie. So like a movie starts with you saying like, this movie, like, life is about stories, and it's basically showing what the set of the movie looks like. And then all of a sudden it just sucks you into the movie 30 seconds in, and then you just never return to it. And in the very end, the movie ends, the narrative's over, and it pulls back out again. You're back on a production set. And what does the woman say? She just says like,
it breaks the fourth wall sometimes.
Yeah, it breaks the fourth. And that was creepy as hell too. And she did that.
That was creepy
because it wasn't like a comedic break of the fourth wall. It was kind of like, ew, like, I don't want you like knowing I'm watching. Like, gross.
There was like a scene, George, where like one of the characters just directly stops and just stares at the camera and it slowly like zooms, and she's just speaking to the viewer. I am not a huge fan of a lot of the fourth wall thing. The start, Tyler, the reason I didn't love it is because when I'm watching a film, I don't want it to be told it's a film. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I want to escape into this world, and I don't want to be told that like I'm watching a film. Does that make sense? I think it just kind of takes it out of me a bit. It was interesting. I've not seen them before. It's original.
Definitely. When you press play on the movie to start it, you're like, what the hell?
I was like, am I in the right thing right now?
Yeah.
I was like,
oh yeah, because you saw it in theaters. Yeah, I'd be like, what the hell?
Yeah, I saw it in the cinema, and I was like, what am I watching, like a documentary or something?
What does the woman say at the very end when it pulls back out to the production set? Does she say like TikTok or like on off or?
So yeah, something about that. Weird decision. A lot of people.
I think it's in out.
Yeah. I think we're in the minority, because I've seen a lot of people really like it, which I kind of get because it is a bit weird. Like,
basically, this movie's a good psychological thriller. I wouldn't call it like up with the greats. But I'd say
it's very good for a Netflix original.
Right. It's a very good psychological thriller that they decided to bookend with very weird scenes that
very weird scenes.
That I don't know. I'm just too dumb in my movie knowledge and critical ability to look at a film to understand at all what the point or what they're going with or what the deeper meaning behind that is.
I didn't understand it.
Yeah. No clue. But Florence Pugh is absolutely incredible. The twists are interesting. and the way it all resolves is, I thought, very creative, very good. I know it is based on a book, so I mean, I guess the screenplay adaptation is very good, but I guess you gotta give credit to the book for the overall what happened.
People get annoyed if you don't do that.
Yeah.
If you don't give the credit to the original adaptation, people are just like
but
that's the thing is.
I do think this movie was very slow, and it didn't do itself any favors because there are scenes of Florence Pugh walking through the Irish fields for some minutes.
Do you think the setting was very reminiscent of Banshees in terms of the setting?
Yeah. Except it was I feel like Banshees was always like sunny, or at least like more.
Well, it was bleak, wasn't it? It was really dark, bleak.
Yeah,
it's a kind of shadowy contrast in lighting, which is why I would say there's horror elements, because the sound design with the setting really added to that. But I know what you mean. There's a lot of scenes that are quite slow, but for me, that's something I really enjoy. But I think a lot of people won't like that, and it's one of those.
Yeah, and then I think there's nowhere near the movie that Don't Worry Darling was. I think it's just coming in my head because Florence Pugh is also in that. But there's similar elements to where you're in the setting, and then all of a sudden you realize things aren't exactly right, like you did in Don't Worry Darling with like the dancing ballet or the mirrors. And this one, I think it's like when she like pricks her finger with blood like twice or something. Or there's just a couple scenes where you're just like, something's weird going on here that I don't know. But then it would just keep going like things are normal, and you're like, it's just very unsettling is the best way to describe this movie.
Yeah, I don't think we should go into spoilers for this. I think this is one where you just kind of
right. Yep, I think I'm done with it at that point. Do you have any more you want to add to the Wonder?
No, we both rated it 4 out of 5. Both enjoyed it.
Yeah,
that's fine.
But if you do watch it, comment down below or tweet us. Like, tell us about the opening scene and the ending scene, like what you think of it, because I'm baffled by it. I don't know what to make of it. It's just odd.